Hi, my name is Brian with SETZER'S, and today I'm going to show off this 2023 192 R-Pod with beast mode. I like to start off on the front. We have a power tongue jack, light switch. Other switch brings the tongue up or down. In case of power failure, there's a manual crank inside you'll be able to use to manually crank it. Behind the jack, we have a propane cylinder. You might have to look down in there. This cylinder is going to hold 4.5 gallons of propane. It's just one single cylinder. I'll open her up. All right, behind the propane, we've installed the deep cycle marine battery, 12 volt. It does have a disconnect switch for the battery to disconnect on or disconnect when you store it. And then moving on around. I do have a starter kit that'll come with a water pressure regulator. Always use when you hook water up. 30 to 15 amp adapter, water hose, and sewer hose. All right. We've got the front cargo that will pass through to the other side. Underneath we have 4 corner stabilizing jacks. These are stabilizing only, so level the camper before you run the jacks down. I do recommend something under the feet of the jacks and wheel chocks as well. To set the steps up, you'd want to open your door as far as you can. And you have 2 paddles to adjust your legs. So adjust the legs so this plate goes all the way down, and you'll be able to shut your door. Get a good pick of the beast mode suspension. That's the beast mode. As far as industry standards, they would like for you to have your wheel bearings checked once a year or every 12,000 miles, keep them greased up. We also perform those inspections as well if you want to bring it back to SETZER'S. Right past the axle, there's a rail that we can set up an outside kitchen. Put this on there so that way it don't slide off on you while they're cooking. And then we also have a gas line that we hook up to the grill. Okay, so once you get the gas line hooked up behind the grill and then hooked up underneath the camper with this valve right here, you'll be able to light your grill, do all your cooking. This right here is a water spigot or spray port. Very easy to connect and disconnect. It's going to be cold water only. We have a black tank flush valve here to keep the sensors clean inside the black tank when you need to. Hot water tank on the very back. This water heater is going to use gas or electric. There is a switch at the bottom left corner, toggle switch on and off. That switch is for electric only. You have a drain plug down at the bottom and a safety blow off at the very top. The switch for gas is inside on the monitor panel. Moving on around. So here we have the exhaust for your furnace. Furnace is going to run on propane only. Down below it is going to be your shore cord hookup. Very simple, only plugs in one way, detachable. Beside it is a cable or satellite inlet. If that's not available, there is an antenna on the roof for local channels. Down below underneath is a dump station. This dump station has two tanks, a gray and a black. Generally using your dump station, when your tanks are full, you'll hook up a sewer hose. Right here, once it's hooked up, you'll pull and dump your black tank first, wait till it's done, close it back, then open your gray, clean out the hose, and always put your cap back on when you're done. Right to the right of this dump station, we have two low point water line drains. You're going to want to use those to flush and clean the water lines and drain the water lines when done camping. Up here closer to the front, we have the water hookups. The one on the top is for the fresh holding tank only. One important thing about the fresh holding tank is do not overfill it. Watch the monitor panel inside. When it says it gets full, come out and stop filling it. And when you are done camping, you need to drain the fresh holding tank. It has the drain underneath. And then of course the valve underneath the fresh is the city water connection if you go to a place water is available to hook up with. Door to the other side of the pass-through cargo. That's going to conclude the outside of this 192R pod. Alright, so up on top of the roof of this 192R pod, I just want to recommend to have the roof inspected at least twice a year. All you got to do is clean these lap seals right here, make sure that there's no bubbling, cracking, peeling, and apply more lap sealant where needed. Coming inside, as soon as you come inside, there's a panel with some switches left of the entrance door. One's going to be awning. We want to press and hold extend to let the awning out. Some good warnings on the awning. Don't overextend the awning. So once you see the awning tube, I would stop extending it. Just like that. If it starts to rain or you need to pitch the awning for more shade, you'll just grab this bottom bar on the arm and just pull down to adjust that pitch. I do recommend putting it back up when you put the awning away. And don't tie or tether the arms down in any way. Also above that switch panel, you'll see a solar controller. It's going to mainly be used for information. You know, there's nothing that you really got to mess with. All right, and then coming over here beside the sink, we have a monitor panel. So at the top here, these buttons is going to be monitoring. This one's going to be the fresh tank, black tank, and gray tank. You have your water heater for gas only. It also utilizes a fault light to let you know if it's lit or not. And the water pump only used for the fresh holding tank only. So if fresh says empty, keep the water pump off until you fill the tank with water to use the water pump. You do have a stove top. You'll have to manually light it. And then down below is a microwave and convection oven. Refrigerator. It's going to run on 12 volt only. You do have a master switch here. If it's turned counterclockwise all the way to off, it is turned off. Down below the refrigerator, we have a power box. It's going to hold the converter. Main breakers on the left and 12 volt fuses on the right. Beside it, we have an inner vac. You can order more bags normally right here. Go to this address. You also have a dustpan as well. Furnace located here. The thermostat to control that furnace is actually up here on the end of the cabinet over top of the sink. This is going to be for the air conditioner and furnace. And this art pod also uses an AquaView shower miser. So this is what's going to save water when you go dry camping, waiting for that hot water. What you're going to do is you're going to turn this valve back, turn the hot water on. The cold water is going to be returning back to the fresh holding tank until it is hot. Then you can pull this valve forward to operate the shower nozzle normally. Nice exhaust fan. Switches up in the vents. Simple bathroom. Alright. Go ahead and put the bed down. As far as the master bed, fold the couch down. Does have an inverter to invert that 12 volt to the 125. This is going to be for the outlets. When you're not plugged into 120, you're going to press unit to turn on. and then press and hold to turn back off. That should conclude the how-to walkthrough on this 2023 192 R-Pod with Beast Mode. Thank you and happy camping.